Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to this week's recap of the week. In this segment we we curate 5 videos that you may or may not have seen, but that sums up the week and we find engaging. So we curate these 5 videos from this channel just to represent them to you for your Sunday listening. So 5 videos on stories that marks the week. As guys, I bring you this. So we kick off with an ongoing battle now for the supremacy within the APC space. So you all recall, of course, what's happened to the Tinubu stooge or Shomole within the APC party. He has been removed and he has been replaced by somebody else. So now Tinubu, of course, is not pleased with this and has phoned one of his pals to complain, and this also transpired in that telephone conversation. So enjoy this video. Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, are we getting to the end game as far as the APC party is concerned? Is really where the question is within the Nigerian space, because the way it is playing out is a bit similar to like a wildlife documentary. You know, when you see a predator chasing a prey and the prey runs and runs, and once that prey is cornered, it turns round and fights back. This may not be the beginning of the end, but it is certainly the end of the beginning. Guys, I bring you this. Buhari ungrateful after I spent 35 billion naira to make him president. A headline attributed to Tinubu. So you see now why I started the video in the manner that I started it. Again, the headline: Buhari ungrateful after I spent 35 billion naira to make him president. A headline attributed to Tinubu. So now let's now see what the Asiwaju of the APC party has to say. Embattled national leader of the All Progressive Congress APC, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has taken a huge swipe at President Muhammadu Buhari, describing him as an ingrate on whom he spent over 35 billion naira to make president. Tinubu's outburst came a day after Buhari torpedoed his presidential ambition, endorsing another faction of the APC in the leadership tussle that has engulfed the party. Sources close to the former Lagos State governor told correspondents. On Wednesday, Buhari endorsed acting National Secretary Victor Giadam as acting national chairman of APC. Barely 24 hours later, he orchestrated the dissolution of the party's National Working Committee (NWC). Yobe State Governor Mia Malabanu was appointed to lead the party as caretaker chairman. Sources informed that Bunu, Abubakar Bugadu, and Nasir El-Rufai, governors of Yobe, Kebbi, and Kaduna State respectively, as well as Transport Minister Wike Amechi, belonged to the same political camp opposed to Tinubu. Soon after Thursday's NEC meeting, it was gathered that Tinubu got on the phone with a former national chairman of the party, Chief Bisi Akande, lamenting and cursing everyone perceived to be behind his political travails. A source who was privy to the conversation told correspondents that the former Lagos State governor complained to Akande, reportedly expressing regrets on all he did for the APC. Asiwaju lamented that he invested over 35 billion naira to fund Buhari's election in 2015 and 2019. Correspondents, however, could not independently verify the figure Tinubu claimed to have spent on Buhari's 2 elections. The source further hinted that the embattled APC leader regretted not backing his former political ally and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar in 2019 over Buhari, and blamed El-Rufai, Amechi, and former Ogun State Governor Ibikunle Amosun as the arrowheads of the opposition to his political aspirations. Asiwaju told Akande that had he backed Atiku in 2019, he would have suffered this kind of political humiliation. He said that were it not for him, the APC would not have won the 2015 and 2019 elections, disclosed the source. It was gathered that Tinubu may have been dealt the biggest political blow of his life yet in retaliation for how he, Tinubu, humiliated the immediate past governor of Lagos State, Akinwumi Ambode. According to the source, Buhari and other top leaders of APC had begged Tinubu to allow Ambode to complete his tenure. As events later proved, the pleas fell on deaf ears. The APC leaders were said to have vowed to pay Tinubu in his own coin for not just disobeying the president, but also carrying on like the sole owner of the party. Meanwhile, a cold war is currently brewing between Tinubu and Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. According to sources close to both political gladiators, Tinubu may have since 1999 schemed up to $1.5 billion directly and through proxies. Governor Sanwo-Olu is reportedly not pleased with Tinubu's overbearing demands and his attempts to control his government. Ambode is reportedly happy that Tinubu's humiliation would give him some respite. So this is now the goings on now. It's all opening up now because this guy, of course, has been cornered. Have absolutely no doubt about that. In one fell swoop, they have taken the party completely away from him. So if Tinubu now still has any presidential ambitions for 2023, he has to go and reform a party and then use that party as a vehicle for his presidential ambitions. But then Tinubu's clout is only within the southwestern regions of the country, and the southwestern regions of the country are not alone to present or gift you a presidency. So you would need a good northern input, and you would need some input from the eastern regions as well. And I don't think that the easterners particularly care for Tinubu. They would prefer Tinubu, of course, to a Malam, but they don't really care for both of them really because they have their own plans. But now, having to rebuild from this point up to 2023 is a Herculean task. But this guy now has found himself suddenly shut out in the cold, out of a party that he created for having the stupidity, should we say, of trusting a Fulani. This is an age-long story of the Yoruba race. When you place trust in these people, but then they shaft you in the back. So he's been shafted in the back, of course, well and truly, and now he's lamenting to Bisi Akande to say, look what this guy did to me after I spent 35 billion naira on his campaign. But then where did that money come from is really the question, because if you look at the trajectory of Tinubu's life, he was a failed businessman up till 1999, and then from 1999 he became the governor of Lagos State, and he has had no business for all of that 20 odd years other than being a politician. So a failed businessman who went into politics and suddenly found himself in a position to be able to afford to spend 35 billion naira on an electoral campaign. So where's that money coming from? We are being told that it takes $1.5 billion out of the Lagos State coffers. So that already tells you everything. Think what impact that $1.5 billion, by the way, would have on the teeming population. Lagos is one of the 5 mega cities in the world. Lagos, Delhi, I think Calcutta, I can't remember the rest, but Lagos, by the United Nations standards, because of the density of the population, about 20 odd million people confined into that small geographical space, is considered to be a mega city. So Lagos, a mega city with a teeming population and no real infrastructure to support this teeming population. Then you have one man taking $1.5 billion out of it. So that tells you everything that you need to know about this Tinubu. But our nemesis, alas, has caught up with him now. He's been shafted in the back. So I'm not quite sure exactly what he's expecting Bisi Akande to do about it, though, because Bisi Akande, I don't even think is the chairman of his own home. I'm sure his wife is in charge of him. So I'm not quite sure. Maybe he's just venting to the guy. I don't know. But now, karma, they say, is a bitch. So this is now karma catching up with this Tinubu character now. All of the abuse and all of the lies and all of the primal conducts that Goodluck Jonathan had to suffer from these people, there was just an alarm on the face of Goodluck Jonathan throughout the whole course of the build-up to that 2015 election. When they will say this thing, I will say, are we living in the same country? But that is patently not true. But these people, they don't deal in truth. They deal in lies, in bribery and corruption. So they managed to bully Goodluck Jonathan out of office because he didn't have a constituency, and the person that was leading that charge to bully him out of office was, of course, Tinubu. So now, emboldened now that he now sits astride the whole of the Nigerian state, he is now handpicking who the governor of Lagos State will be. So if he sends an instruction from his home in Bodilion to say do this and do that, and you don't do this and you don't do that, he will simply phone his boys to impeach you and then get you out of office and send the EFCC after you, like he did with Ambode. And of course, he managed to tame Fashola, because Fashola, he knows where his own bread is buttered, so he will never cross the line. So Sanwo-Olu now is getting the same treatment and he's starting to grumble. But that move against Ambode was a real big mistake by this guy, because Ambode was well loved in Lagos State, because you could see if you go to Muritala Mohammed International Airport now and you come out to the airport, if you manage to escape that chaotic, almost barbaric, very backward airport that they have in Lagos, if you manage to come out of it and you get on the streets, there's a stretch of road that just rolls like a carpet, well laid out, etc., etc. This was built by Ambode. This whole Epe project that he was trying to bring Epe into Lagos State to expand the state so that there's more breathing space within that state. All of these plans, all of the roads that he's fixing, he will go there by himself. You see him in his shirt and jeans or shirt and trouser saying that, look, this road, I will fix it within 3-4 weeks. And then 3-4 weeks, he will come back and say, I have fixed this road. So a lot of activities, all the also the terminal in Ojota, etc. So all of these things he was doing, and the whole of Lagos State was pleased. He was saying then, Ambode, that he wants people to hit Lagos State and feel the difference. Hit by, that is, coming to Lagos State. So if you are coming from the hinterlands of Nigeria, as soon as you hit the borders of Lagos State, you immediately know the difference between where you're coming from and where you are now. This is where the ambitions of Ambode. But then, of course, he wasn't serving up the $1.5 billion as regularly as Tinubu would have him do. So he got rid of him, and this particularly pained everyone, because Buhari wanted him not to do it, because Buhari especially liked Ambode, because he could see the impact that he was having. He was having to travel from Abuja almost on a monthly basis to come and open one new project or the other that this guy had completed. So a real achiever. But then Tinubu, of course, managed to get rid of him. So they have been laying in wait for Tinubu for a long time, and a lot of people have pockets of issues with Tinubu. El Rufai has his own issues because he also has presidential ambitions towards 2023, and Aregbesola is going to be his running mate. So that's one strategy that is already plotting against him within the party. And then this now move against Ambode is one that Buhari had kept in his pocket, that no, there can't be two captains in one ship, and you cannot be the captain when I am around. So now, having now gotten the opportunity to get rid of Oshiomhole, they have now seized the entirety of the party away from Tinubu now, because he's now out in the cold completely, to the point now that is now coming out in the public space to tell us that he spent $35 billion, not dollars, but naira, that he spent $35 billion naira on the Buhari joint campaign 2015-2019. So where did that money come from is the first question. And the second question, of course, is why did you spend it on this election? Conversations in the comment section in Yoruba land, we say afẹ́fẹ́ ti fẹ́, you know, but in English they say the wind has blown and you have seen the behind of the chicken. So it is the behind of the chicken now. It doesn't really translate in English very well, but it resonates more in Yoruba. Afẹ́fẹ́ ti fẹ́ àti rí fùrọ̀ adìyẹ. So however you are choosing to term it, the guy has been exposed is essentially what is going on now, and it's now coming out in the public space to make a lot of this noise. And I'm pretty sure that he had this leaked, and he since denied it, by the way, that he said this, and I will bring that to you in a follow-up video. So please click on subscribe to keep up to date. Click on the bell notification as well, so you are notified every time I drop a new video. Then click on like as well if you like the content of the video, because that helps, you see, with the YouTube algorithm. So once you've done all that, come into the comment section to exchange views with me regarding this matter. So I'll leave you here, carry this conversation on with you in the comment section, but here I say peace. Hope you enjoyed that. So next we're going to the east, and we're going to visit a gentleman called Arthur Eze. This chap, this noted politician and oil billionaire, is of the view that the Igbos should be eternally grateful to Malam Buhari, and he explains why in this video. So enjoy. Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, this is one for the Igbos, particularly for Nigerians in general, but for the Igbos especially, and I'm wondering how it will resonate within the IPOB quarters. Guys, I bring you this: Igbo owe Buhari eternal gratitude, and it is an author Eze saying this. So that's the headline we're contending with. Prominent Igbo name eulogizing about Buhari. Igbo owe Buhari eternal gratitude, says author Eze. So now let's now see how he's backing up this very bold statement. Billionaire oil magnate Prince Arthur Eze on Sunday said Indigbo owed the president, Major General Muhammadu Buhari retired, eternal gratitude for what he called the massive provision of economic and infrastructural facilities in the southeast geopolitical zone. He said Igbo benefited more under his regime, adding that Buhari had become a hero in the area for religiously executing projects like Akuna Ibiam International Airport and the second Niger Bridge. So let's just pause there for a moment, because I was prepared to laugh at this Arthur Eze guy, but in all things I try to be fair and balanced. So this second Niger Bridge thing now, I have been watching it all the way through, and they have been building it all the way through, and it's nearing completion now. So this second Niger Bridge has been something that has been needed in that region, especially for at least a good 30 or if not 40 years. I mean, it's something that should have been there a long time ago, and there's been regimes after regimes. There's been all of the regimes that we have passed through, but none of them have done it. But this guy is doing it. He is doing it because Fashola is quite proud of that particular project, and he cannot wait to bounce in front of news medias. Anytime he sees any news outfit, he almost wants to physically grab them and take them down to that second Niger Bridge construction site to show them the progress being made and how it is near completion. I actually saw a clip of some Igbo guy that was riding his bike around that bridge, and he was just praising Buhari all the way through. That look at what this Buhari guy has done. In fact, if I can find that clip, I will attach it. So if I found that clip, I'm attaching it here.
I'm closer. I'm more closer to the bridge. This is it. This is it. Wonderful work. Well done, Julius Berger. Well done, my man, Muhammadu Buhari. Odogu #1 of Nigeria. Well done, sir. This is the bridge. all the pillars are stand. Just to mend the bridge, they are putting it. Here is it. Who says it's not true? Are they still doubting it? And they are calling me Mumu. They said they said they have brainwashed me. Now who was brainwashed? See it. See the Julius Berger workers closing up for work.
But if it was not there, then I couldn't find the clip. But that bridge is certainly under construction and is nearing completion. So whatever else, and there's nobody more anti-Buhari than myself, whatever else, if he completes that bridge, it goes under his name. So whatever else you say, if he completes that bridge, that a second Niger bridge, that goes under his name, because the people will say that, well, it was during Buhari's time that this bridge was built. That will go down under his name, or whether you like it or not. So we just have to say that for in the interest of balance and equity. So now let's carry on. Actually, let me take it from the top of that paragraph again, because I have rambled so much, you might have lost track of where we were. He said Igbos benefited more under his regime, adding that Buhari had become a hero in the area for religiously executing projects like Akuna Abiam International Airport and the second Niger Bridge. He added that the creation of zonal police headquarters, Zone 13, at Ukpo Kofia, sorry about the pronunciation by the way, Ukpo Kofia in Anambra State, Buhari has shown exceptional love for the people of the area. He said this in a statement by his media consultant, Mr. Olivia Opala. The statement reads in part, President Muhammadu Buhari and the Inspector General of Police have demonstrated uncommon goodwill towards the people of the Southeast geopolitical zone and should now rest assured of our unalloyed support and loyalty. The modernization and uplifting of the Akuna Abiam Airport to an international standard with modern runway and facilities that can compete favorably with any airport. The concern of the Southeast Zone in terms of security, protection of lives and property has been tackled head-on by the President, citing a police zonal headquarters at Zone 13 at Ukpo Kofia in the Akwa Capital Territory of Anambra is a feat that has shown clearly that the President is a man of the moment for the Igbo and the entire Southeast. So these are the words now, of course, of Eze. This is a name that has been recurring within the Nigerian space for as long as I've been conscious. I've never not known a time that this guy was not in the papers, and I've never also not known a time, of course, that this guy has not been making this sort of comments to this sort of people. I have seen this same guy, this Eze, make this sort of comments towards Babangida when Babangida was in power. I have seen this same Eze, this same one man, make this sort of comments towards Abacha when Abacha was in power. So I'm not sure if he made it to Obasanjo or Goodluck Jonathan. So he has a particular thing for those northerners, those Hausa Fulanis, because I think they butter his bread more than anyone else, because I cannot see why he likes to fawn and roll on the floor to these people, but this is something that he certainly seems to do often. But really, just to the point that he is making, yes, is for self-interest and is just bootlicking, but there's some validity and some merit to some of the things that he's saying. Because if that second Niger bridge is completed and is nearing completion, then that will go under the name of this regime. And of course, this airport too, I don't know anything about that airport, so I'm not going to comment, but this second Niger bridge especially, I do know that it is being fast forward, because it's one of these projects that they've tagged presidential project, because what they try to do is to capture projects that they feel are so important that it comes under the presidency's banner, and these are the projects that they propel the most, and that second Niger bridge is one of them, along with the Lagos Ibadan expressway, which they are not doing anything about, and then some Kano to whatever, I think Abuja. So there's key projects that they are doing, and that second Niger bridge is one of them. So that is the thing that is being said now, easy. But then, of course, the response of the Igbos is really what I am interested in. But then I am saying the response of the Igbos. But then what is that exactly, the response of the Igbos? Because the Igbos are broken into so many factions. So you have the Jim Nwondo element of the Igbos, and that is one voice, and that has a following. You have the Senator Baribe faction of the Igbos, and that's one voice as well, so a different voice again. So you have people now, like elements like this is now, that is a voice within the Igbo setting as well, and that has its own following. And then you have, of course, the Okorotas set, the Rochas Okorota set, all these Iberism guys, and then you can wrap all these Hope Uzodinma and the rest of them. Who did Hope Uzodinma replace? All of them, you can wrap all of them under that Iberism element. And then you have the elements of Nnamdi Kanu and his band of merry men. So you have all of these pockets of voices within the Igbo race, and they all have their following, and the Igbos are only about 30-40 million people. So you cannot really say that there's one united voice that is an Igbo voice, because of course it's not the voice that shouts the loudest that is of the most reasoning. So you have to listen to every voice, and this is what one of the voices of the Igbo people is saying, and a prominent voice as well, because this is a voice that's been reverberating throughout that whole culture for a very long time, far longer than a lot of the new voices that we're hearing now. Conversations in the comment section, you have to be eternally grateful to the Malami, and that is according to a leading Igbo voice. Come share thoughts. Do you agree or disagree with this author is a guy? Come let me know all about it in the comment section. But before you do that, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. The bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Then click on like as well if you've been engaged. If you let me just say engaged, if you have engaged with the video. So I'm not saying if you liked the video or you did not like the video, if you found it annoying or you found it enjoyable, if it has engaged you in any manner, then just click on like. So that helps with the YouTube algorithm, you see, because when you click on like, then YouTube promotes it to even more people. Then you can have more people that share your opinion or disagree with your opinion coming to join in the conversations that we have here. So that's why I like to ask you to click on like. So do that, click on subscribe, the bell button, and like, just 3 short motions. So click, then come join me in the comment section. Let's evolve this conversation. So I'll leave you here, carry this conversation. Hope you enjoyed that. So next up, we're going to Kano State by way of Edo State. So it is a battle now between the governor of Kano State, Abdullahi Ganduje, who we all know loves a dollar note, and the governor of Rivers State, I think Cross River State or River State, I'm not quite sure, please correct me in the comment section, but Governor Yemsom Wike is who I am talking about. So Yemsom Wike has been appointed to lead the PDP charge for Edo State for the elections there, and Governor Ganduje has been appointed to lead the APC charge on that state. So Ganduje has now accused the PDP of wanting to loot the treasury of Edo State. So Wike responds, and he responds in this video, so enjoy. Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, we're only halfway through the year and we already have something that could well go down as the joke of the year. I cannot imagine it getting any funnier than this. Sad as it is true, as guys I bring you this, you are a barefaced treasury looter. PDP blast Governor Ganduje for saying the party is only interested in Edo governorship election because of the state treasury. So we're in that territory now, and sometimes you wonder if these people, if some of these people, in fact all of them, you wonder if these people live in some sort of a parallel universe and they operate by some sort of reverse way of being from the rest of humanity, because of course the person accusing somebody else of being a treasury looter is none other a person than Abdullahi Ganduje, the very guy that we saw pocketing millions of dollars that was being given to him as a bribery by a contractor, and the president of the criminal organization called Nigeria came out into the public space to tell us that what we saw was not exactly what we saw, that it was Photoshop. This is now the guy now pointing the finger, accusing somebody of being a treasury looter. So joke of the year, as I said, as again I bring you the headline: you are a barefaced treasury looter. PDP blast Governor Ganduje for saying the party is only interested in Edo governorship election because of the state treasury. So now let's now see how this set to plays out. PDP has blasted Kano State Governor Abdullahi Ganduje, who today said the party made Governor Godwin Obaseki its flag bearer for the September 19 Edo State governorship election because they are only interested in the state's treasury. In Governor Ganduje's words, the PDP decided to accommodate our former governor in Edo State not because they have anything in common or share some ideological feeling, but simply because he is managing the treasury of Edo State. In a statement released by spokesperson Kola Olobodinyo, the PDP described Governor Ganduje as a treasury looter who has no moral rectitude to speak on corruption. The party said it is a huge irony that Governor Ganduje, who has earned himself the disgraceful public sobriquet of Gandola after being caught collecting gratification, would attempt to accuse others of having intentions of looting the treasury of a state. The statement, that is the PDP statement, reads in parts: it is a paradox that an individual who has earned himself the disgraceful public sobriquet of Gandola after being caught collecting gratification would attempt to accuse others of having intentions of looting the treasury of a state. The PDP points out that it is only a party like the APC under a Buhari presidency that such a tarnished individual can be selected to speak in public, let alone lead a governorship election campaign. Apparently, Governor Ganduje and other APC leaders are so used to looting public treasury that such is his first mental direction after his inauguration to lead the Edo governorship campaign. Governor Ganduje has further confirmed the real intention of the APC, which is to use their morally embattled candidate, Osage Izeayamo, and this of course is in brackets now, of course birds of a feather flock together, for their desperate efforts to regain access to Edo State Treasury after Governor Godwin Obaseki liberated the state from the stranglehold of APC treasury looting godfathers. Our party invites Governor Ganduje to note that there is no free dollar for him or other APC leaders to loot in Edo State. Under the PDP, the resources of Edo State and indeed other PDP states belong to the people and not to any political cabal or their godfathers. Of course, this is why the people of Edo State are solidly behind Governor Obaseki for firmly resisting the APC looters. Moreover, Governor Ganduje, with his infamous Gandola video, is no match to the chairman of the PDP National Campaign Council for Edo election, Governor Yemsam Wike. Whereas Governor Wike is a highly respected, upright, honest, transparent, people-based and development-driven leader who is firmly in touch with the people of Edo State and enjoy their confidence and trust, Governor Ganduje, on the other hand, represents a leadership that is fraught with dishonesty, corruption, non-performance, and public shame. The PDP therefore counsels Governor Ganduje and the APC to quietly perish the thoughts of looting Edo State Treasury like they are doing in APC-controlled states, as the people of Edo State will humiliate them in the September 19 election. So that is the back and forth, which is just our political language. Really, it's just political brickbats, but it's really the players really that is of more interest. So here you have an element like this Gandola Abdullahi Ganduje, who we saw, and I will look for a clip of that video because it is quite important that we remind ourselves who and what this person is. We saw him in a video, pocketing dollars that was given to him as a bribe by a contractor seeking favors. So $3 million was what the allegation was at that time, that this contractor gave him $3 million. So if the contractor is giving him $3 million for the award of a contract, that contractor, of course, is not going to be taking that $3 million of his own profit. No, he's going to be taking that $3 million out of the state. So he's either going to inflate his contract bid by that $3 million or more to insulate that money that is going to the governor. So he's either going to do that, or he's going to shortchange on the quality of work that is going to do for the state. That is if he does any work at all, of course, because you know in Nigeria, they award the contract, they give them the mobilization fee, they might even pay up to 80%, and not a single brick or not even a single grain of sand is cited on the site. So this is what they do. But let's assume even that he's going to carry out the contract, he's definitely not going to take that $3 million out of his own pocket. So he will vest that upon that state by one form or the other. And we also saw that clip, and hopefully I found the clip to attach to this video. But if I haven't found the clip, you guys can easily find it because it's well circulated and it's on the internet everywhere. So this now is the guy now that has the effrontery to go to Edo State and point in the direction of PDP. And by the way, the direction of PDP should be pointed to when it comes to talks of corruption, because of course this whole crop of corruption that is going on now within the Nigerian space, this just wild looting that is going on within the Nigerian state, it all started under PDP, because all of the APC governors, of course a good 80%, at least 70% of APC was formerly PDP. So they were looting all the way through under Goodluck Jonathan, and he didn't have the potency to check them then. So their mouth is now that white that they are now unstoppable, to the point that a guy was seen pocketing dollars and the whole country saw it, and the president just gave him a veto, a fiat, to say, look, he can do whatever he likes, he can take as much. So what incentive is there for that guy to stop taking bribes is really where the question is. When we saw him taking bribe, and the president of the country, Malam Buhari, just covered him and told the rest of the country to get lost. So what incentive does he, Gandola, or any other person within the APC structure have to stop taking bribe? So this is just the wild goings on within the Nigerian state, but it's now the effrontery of this guy now to point in the direction of anyone and accuse them in any manner, having had all this sort of a public thing that has been pasted all over the world regarding him and corruption, having that all over the world and still not having enough of any self-awareness or any dignity or any self-shame that he has then the effort. So anyway, you know where I'm going. Let me not ramble and repeat. Conversations in the comment section. We can carry on in the comment section, because of course you already get the cut and thrust of what I'm saying. So you now come tell me the cut and thrust of what you are thinking in the comment section. But before you do that, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. Click on the bell button as well, that notifies you every time I drop a new video. Click on the like button as well, because that helps with the YouTube algorithm. Once you've done all three, click, then come meet me in the comment section. Let's see what we're making of this conversation. It's as funny as it is sad, this going on within the Nigerian space, but not at all surprising. So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section. But here, I say, peace. Hope you enjoyed that. So next up, we're going to the Niger Delta region, and we're speaking about a minister this time around, Godswill Akpabio. So Akpabio, of course, now is appearing before the Senate committee, looking into how 40 billion naira has suddenly been spent within 8-9 months of Akpabio being in charge of that particular parastatal. So he is now at the Senate committee investigating this thing, trying to explain away how 40 billion has been spent. So it is explained in this video now, so enjoy. Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, they say madness is repeating the same things over and over again and expecting a different result. So if you repeat the same thing over and over again, of course you will get the same result. As guys, I bring you this. Akpabio denies getting 500 million naira NDDC jobs. So we're talking, of course, about Akpabio. What is his first name again? Let's just check his first name quickly. Godswill. So Godswill Akpabio is who we are talking about, of course, a name that you're familiar with. This guy has now been made the minister in charge of the Niger Delta, which is where a lot of the money within the Nigerian space comes from, and a good size of it goes back into that region as well as insulation to keep it quiet. And the person that they have put in supervision of that money is Godswill Akpabio, who is previously with the EFCC, with a myriad of accusations, and the laws and the police chasing hard at his heels, and then suddenly he's found himself at the presidential villa being nominated as a minister of state, which then backs off the authorities, of course, from that chase. But then, of course, a man that is already known for criminality is now being queried why he's conducting himself in his new portfolio in a criminal manner. So again, the headline: Akpabio denies getting 500 million NDDC jobs. So now let's see what Boju this guy wants to majority us with. The Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio, has debunked allegations he collected and executed projects worth 500 million naira in the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) when he was a serving senator. He said that President Muhammadu Buhari should be commended for being the first #1 citizen that is not using the NDDC to settle family members and political cronies. He said he was not aware of the various expenditures in the NDDC because their expenses were below the threshold of what a minister is required to approve. So 500 million is below the threshold of what a minister should approve. So I wonder what that threshold is then. He urged the National Assembly to collaborate with the executive to stop financial abuse in the agency. Akpabio spoke when he appeared before the Senate ad hoc committee investigating alleged financial recklessness and misappropriation of 40 million naira by the Interim Management Committee IMC of the NDDC between October 2019 and May this year. So between October 2019, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. So that's about 9 months approximately. Within 9 months, these people have already wiped their mouth with 40 billion naira. And this is just the beginnings of a new tenure. So, and this is not even a full calendar year or even a year, but just by counting the months, this is just barely 9 months into it. And these people have already disappeared 40 billion naira. So by the end of their tenure, of course, they would have wiped out the whole of that agency. But we carry on. The chairman of the Senate Committee on Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Peter Nwaoboshi, had at a press briefing accused Akpabio of securing 500 million naira worth of contracts from the NDDC without executing them. Akpabio said that the allegations being thrown around against him were because of the ongoing forensic auditing of the agency. He said that as a minister, he has only signed one contract, which was on the C-19 palliatives between October and July because it passed due process and it was also approved by the Federal Executive Council, FEC. He said he was not aware of the contracts and expenses by the NDDC because they were done under their threshold. He condemned the idea of splitting contracts in NDDC, adding that the budget process in the agency should also be improved by ensuring that details of the proposed expenditures are supplied for the lawmakers' scrutiny. The minister agreed that there was a lot of financial rot in the NDDC, with completed projects being re-awarded at huge cost. So just look at that. This is somebody now that is in charge of an agency saying this, that completed projects are being rewarded at huge cost. Just pause for a moment and reflect on that statement. And they are saying you want to add corruption. Corruption will finish you before you finish it. He cited the case of an electrification project in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital, which he initiated and completed whilst in office as the governor. The electrification project in Uyo, which I executed and completed as a governor, had been re-awarded for 3.7 billion naira, but we have stopped it, he said. On the 500 million projects he allegedly got from the commission, Akpabio said, when you are in the Senate or the House of Representatives, you can make suggestions to the committee chairman concerning your constituency. It is left to that agency to accept it or not. So probably when I was in the Senate, because that letter is dated 2017, I must have made recommendations that they should consider to include it, but they were not included in the budget. They were not considered, so those jobs were not done. Not 1 naira was paid, and when you make recommendations, it is not that you are going to be the contractor. It is that if they put a job for your constituency, when they are going through due process, they will advertise that job, and that job would be awarded to the contractor that won the bid. It is not that when a senator makes a suggestion to an agency, that senator will automatically go and become the contractor. And the fact that the paper was written on the minority leader's letter-headed paper shows that it was not an award. An awarded contract would have been on the NDDC letterhead. So when I saw it, I did not think it was worth responding to, because I am a seasoned administrator and a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and I owe the nation nothing but good service and to tell the truth. It is not worth responding to because it was total falsehood. I have never been a contractor in NDDC. Even if those suggested projects worth 500 million were accepted, there is no guarantee that God's will Akpabio or my nominee would have been the contractor. On the 40 million allegedly misapplied by the IMC, Akpabio added, and then the issue of the missing 40 billion, and then the issue of the missing 40 billion. I came to honor my colleagues. I am a senator forever. They have the right to look into issues when they are raised. It was a motion and they have the right to investigate it, and whenever their investigative report comes out, it would help me to supervise and monitor the NDDC better. But it is not that the money was missing, because the Central Bank of Nigeria harbors the account of the NDDC, so you cannot go and take out 40 billion from the CBN and eat it without trace. Technology has gone too far. He said that the report and recommendations of the panel would help him look at whether the monies being spent by the NDDC were rightly expended or not. It is a combination for us to change the Niger Delta. That is why I said everything here comes up to forensic, he said. He noted that even though he is from the Niger Delta region, that he has never been impressed with the NDDC. I am a Niger Deltan, but I have never been impressed with the NDDC. I must say that I have never been impressed with the NDDC. I must say that I have never been impressed with the NDDC throughout my tenure as a governor. I wasn't impressed. You do politically motivated projects, you do a road of 5 kilometers, and in next raining season it would wash away. Go to my state and see the roads I did 13 years ago. You don't see a single pothole on them because I took cognizance of what the terrain is in the region. You cannot rule a people and give them the good projects if you don't love them. Some of these people are merchants. They just come into the commission on the basis of political connotations and with one aim to make money and go and contest election. So now the president is the first president in Nigeria that has not used the NDDC as a place to settle political cronies. That is why he has the courage to order for forensic audit of NDDC from 2001. We must commend that, because if his family members and political cronies were going to the NDDC as in the past to go and collect money and phony contracts that were not executed, there is no way he would have ordered the forensic audit. So mine is to make sure that I carry out the instruction of the president and clean the system and then set up a management structure. So I like what is happening here, and I just want to tell you, please don't believe in sensational journalism and then somebody will come and say Akpabio under probe for 40 billion. Which Akpabio? If see 40 billion, I won't faint. On his part, the acting managing director of NDDC, Professor Pondia, threatened that he would resign if the allegation of corruption against him are proven by his critics. Pondia, whilst dismissing allegations of financial recklessness against the IMC, said if anyone has any evidence that I collected even 1 cent from any contractor, let him present it and I will resign instantly. We need to be very careful in making spurious allegations that distract the NDDC. The chairman of the Senate Ad Hoc Committee panel, Senator Olubunmi Adetunbi, said that all facts being used to probe the NDDC were from the agency and other official sources. He reiterated the essence of the investigation was to make sure that the Commonwealth of Niger Delta works for the people of the Niger Delta. According to him, the investigation is not about missing money, but about ensuring that monies get into the right pockets that will promote the best interest of the Niger Delta region and its people. The committee also told Akpabio that at the end of the investigation, those who specialize in hijacking people's patrimony would be put out of business. So this is the cut and thrust of it. It's all long-winded and well stretched out, but the upshot of it is money is missing and there's no explanation for it. So the head of the agency is coming to say that, oh, this money is below my threshold, so I don't sign off on it. And the person that is a director in a sub parastatal within that agency is threatening to resign if there's any money found to have been misappropriated by himself. But the upshot of it, the total entirety of it is 40 billion naira has disappeared. And this is how they go and blow grammar, and I'm sure that they went with big bags to the Senate halls, and I'm sure those big bags that they went with to the Senate halls did not come out of the Senate halls with them. So you all know the narrative, Ghana must go bags and everything. So this is just something that repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats within the Nigerian space. Money goes missing. The person in charge of the money says, I know nothing, sir. The person under the person says, I know nothing, sir. The authorities are called in to say, what do you know? And then the investigation goes on for 5-10 years. And at the end of the day, the person that was in charge of that agency is now a governor or a minister, whilst that money is still missing, and the people are still suffering from the things that money was meant to put in place to insulate their suffering. So this is the Nigerian story. It never changes. It's always been like this, and it continues to be like this. Conversations in the comment section, they've put the cat in charge of fish. So now this is really the only analogy that applies when you put somebody like Godswill Akpabio in charge of money. What says you? Come share thoughts. Who do you believe in this long-winded, rather convoluted, but at the upshot of it, money missing story? So what is the position that you're taking with regards to Akpabio and his positioning within the NDDC? Come share thoughts. But before you do that, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. The bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Click on like as well. That helps with the YouTube algorithm. Once you've done all three, then come talk corruption with me in the comment section. So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section. But here, I say peace. Hope you enjoyed that. So now, next up, now we're going to some quite big and notable names. So the names in contention in this particular video are people like Babangida, Tinubu, Buhari, what's that name? The former NSA, Dasuki, etc. So these are all the names in contention now, and the gentleman now introducing this narrative to us is a chap called Kurfi. That's Kurfi. That is his name, and is narrating how the relationship between these three, I wouldn't say prominent, but notorious, I would say. So these three notorious names, how the relationship between them interlink. So that explanation is in this video. So enjoy. Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, the plots and the intrigues get even deeper within the Nigerian space, and the enemy of society, they are plentiful as they are powerful. Guys, I bring you this. Dasuki introduced Buhari to Tinubu. IBB gave president money for elections. This is a headline attributed to a character called Kurfi. So Kurfi is the name of the person, Kurfi. So the headline again, Dasuki introduced Buhari to Tinubu. IBB gave president money for elections. A headline attributed to a person that we're about to familiarize ourselves with, a chap called Kurfi. So before we get into it, just look at the names at play here. Dasuki, of course, is being held by Buhari as punishment. I think it's actually been released now, hasn't it? But he held him for a good 4 years as punishment for Dasuki plotting a coup against him that led to his detention. He being Buhari, of course, in the 80s, when he then lost one of his parents but could not go to the funeral because he was in detention during that Babangida coup. So Dasuki was the main player then, and he's detained him now for 4 years as punishment. But it's now imagined now that it was Dasuki that introduced Buhari to Tinubu, who then funded his election to now make him president. And who is the money bag behind that election? Apparently, allegedly, according to this headline, no other a name than Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida. So as I said, the enemies of society are plentiful as they are powerful. So how we get out of the vice grip of these people is one for the gods. But let's see now how this Kurfi or Kurfi explains this. I'll go with Kurfi, so that's how I'm going to pronounce the name. So if you have a better pronunciation, then please tell me in the comment section. So let's get straight into it. Ahmed Kurfi, a top member of the defunct Congress for Progressive Change (CPC), the party on whose platform President Muhammadu Buhari contested the 2011 presidential election, has made explosive revelations. Kurfi told a leading newspaper that it was Colonel Sambo Dasuki, a former National Security Advisor NSA, who introduced Buhari to the then ACN leader Bola Tinubu prior to the poll. The Action Congress of Nigeria (ACN), All Nigeria People's Party (ANPP), and Congress for Progressive Change (CPC) were the parties that formed the All Progressive Congress (APC). Former President Goodluck Jonathan, elected on the platform of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), appointed Dasuki NSA on June 22, 2012. Kurfi revealed that he, Dasuki, Adamu, incumbent Minister of Education, Kabir Yusuf, Daily Trust publisher, and Wada Maida, ex-chief executive of News Agency of Nigeria (NAN), visited Tinubu in Lagos before the 2011 general elections. Kofi disclosed that he was central to the negotiation of CPC and ACN, which later became APC. I was the one who led the team that went to negotiate with Bola Tinubu, the former CPC stalwart said. He stated that APC was a coalition of various interests that came together to form a political party for the purpose of power. The politician said, looking deeply, Nigerians would find that APC is not a political party because all sorts of various political interests have come in. Kofi stated that there exists a long-standing grudge between Buhari and Dasuki and that it was purely over military matters. He disclosed that Dasuki introduced them to Tinubu because they were in exile together when Abacha was after them. Also, Sambo helped Tinubu's mother when he was a military assistant to Babangida. Kofi, an ex-CPC director of research and strategy, added that Babangida also assisted Buhari with money for his elections. He explained that this was during the campaign for Buhari in the ANPP and that Dasuki initiated the meeting. Kofi said that he was the one who made the arrangements, and when they fly to Lagos, Sambo will make the necessary arrangements, but you know the military is just like what Adamo Chiroma said in one of his many interviews. He, Siroma or Chiroma, however you choose to pronounce it, he, Chiroma, said they say Buhari is unforgiving, but why should he not forgive? He overthrew a democratically elected government and put Shagari in detention. So if you are removed by the same people you used to overthrow Shagari, why should you complain? Kofi recalled that Dasuki was with them during the campaigns around the country. He described Dasuki as someone with a lot of networks. If you want a detribalized Nigerian, that is Sambo. You will see him comfortable with every Nigerian, regardless of your tribe, religion, or whatever. So really, it is just the names really in contention here. Before we even go into the narrative, into what this guy had to say, it is just really the names in contention here, because this is the entirety of Nigeria that we're discussing now, because you don't get more Nigeria, and I'm choosing that word carefully. I didn't say you don't get more Nigerian, but you don't get more Nigeria than Buhari, Babangida, Tinubu, and Dasuki. So between all of these names is the wealth of Nigeria, is the power of Nigeria, and it's the entity that is the place that is Nigeria, because these people have loomed large like a colossus over that space pretty much throughout the entirety of all of our lives. Most of us are listening to this video, at least a good percentage of it. No matter how old you are, a good 50 to 75% of your life span has been ruled, governed, or influenced by pretty much most of these names that have been mentioned here: Babangida, Buhari, Dasuki, Tinubu. These people have impacted on you, whether you like it or not. They've impacted on your economy, they've impacted on your personal life, they've impacted on your safety, they've impacted on your aspirations, they've impacted on your mind, they've impacted on you, whether you like it or not, in a profound way. And these are the people now sharing the dollars. So look at that setup now. Dasuki, who Buhari has now jailed, and this coffee guy, he's made a point actually. Dasuki has been jailed by Buhari for jailing him and plotting a coup against him to remove him from power. But it was this same Buhari that plotted a coup against Shagari and put him in detention. So why is it okay for him to overthrow the Shagari regime and put Shagari in detention, but it is not okay for others to overthrow him and put him in detention? So you begin to get into the mindset of the character that we're contending with. And so miffed is he because this guy is a very vindictive guy. I'm talking about Buhari, of course, an extremely narrow-minded, pretty sinister and very vindictive man. So he has been carrying that grudge, of course, all the way through, and Babangida is too big an entity for him to go after because it will be too much of a public outcry. So he has now picked somebody that he considers to be Babangida's boy and put him in detention instead to serve as a signal to the people who overthrew him and to tell them that revenge is a dish best served cold. But then, of course, if you go by the narration of this guy, who is an insider, by the way, because the CPC, of course, was entirely Buhari. That was his party. He founded it, and it was the only thing that held it together. If you remove him from the party, there's no party anymore. So a key stalwart of that party, this coffee guy, is speaking from the inside and is talking about the negotiations that led to the formation of APC. And that negotiation apparently was facilitated by this same Dasuki, who, whilst he was facilitating this bringing Buhari into power, did not know that Buhari was still holding a long-standing grudge against him, which then again speaks to the sort of a personality that Buhari is. Conversations in the comment section, the entirety of Nigeria is what we are discussing now, and if you consider the weight of the names that have been mentioned, then you would agree. But if you do disagree, then come tell me why in the comment section. But before you do that, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. The bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Click on a like as well, because that helps, you see, with the YouTube algorithm. If you click on like, and if YouTube sees that there's enough people liking the video, then they present it to more people who are likely to want to view the video. That way we get more people coming into the family to come join in with the conversations that we have here routinely. So click on subscribe, the bell button, and like, and that is if you do like the video. You are not compelled to, but if you do like the video, then click on like. Haven't done all three, then come join me in the comment section to see now what we are making of these names that we're contending with, and this really mini bombshell that this man has dropped. Come tell me what you are making of it, and let's have a conversation around that in the comment section. So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section, but here I say peace. Hope you enjoyed that. So now those are the 5 videos for this week. I hope that it met with your liking, and whatever your thinking is, then obviously come into the comment section to express them. So that is this week. There are other videos that I could have added, and I deliberately left out the Bamago situation because I am going to do a completely different montage on that particular scenario, just an A to Z of the Mago situation. So please look out for that on the channel as well, because that's to come soon. So the 5 videos for this week, as you have seen, let me know what your thoughts are. Do you like, do you dislike? What are your thoughts on the individual videos or all of the videos collectively? Conversations as always in the comment section. That is where I usually engage with you guys. Click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. The bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Click on like as well, because that helps with the YouTube algorithm. So I'll end this video here now. Come engage with you in the comment section, but here I say peace.